Hello everyone, this is Wilvin and back with 7 Days to Die. As if you watch my previous 7 Days to Die videos, you can see that it's been a while since I've done one. A lot of things been going on and just haven't really had a chance to play it. But I then noticed that there was a new update that added a lot of new things. And decided to record because there was a lot of major updates. Let's get this guy. As you can see, I've already got a little bit of stuff gathered up. I did kind of useful a recording, but my audio was messed up, so I'm just redoing it. I didn't want to start back from the beginning. Yeah, it didn't really miss much. It was mostly going over what is new, and I cleared out this little area here. I'm just going to stay over here for right now while I kind of go over some of the basics that's gone changed. There's been a couple major changes and then a few more minor. The major one is now you have randomly generated worlds, and that's what I'm in right now. Previously, you had a map that was already made, and pretty much after you played a few times, you knew exactly where everything was. But now, you've got this. The map is kind of like got the fog of war on it. As you can see, I kind of went quite a ways just to find this building. But I still haven't unlocked a lot of the map. It's just a small area. But yeah, this whole world's randomly generated, so this is pretty good because you don't know where things are. So it's good for exploring. The original map is still there. I haven't really checked it out, so I don't know how much, if they changed anything on that map. I just ate some stuff and drank water. That's another little change they've had. Previously, if I remember right, when you drank water, you got to keep the jars. But previously, if you ate food, the empty cans just kind of disappeared. Well, now when you eat something that's out of a can, you get an empty can for it. So that's pretty good. Let's see. Animals are still very hard to kill, which is sad because food is harder to find, or at least it seems like it to me. What is here? A pig getting killed by a zombie. I wonder if it was this. Just kill him real quick. Don't see any pigs. Why I was looking is because, like I said, food is a little bit harder to find. But they've kept animals still real hard to kill. Which I don't understand that. Usually it takes, with a crossbow, it took me like, I shot it like 3 times and I used my axe on it several more times and it still took quite a few hits to kill it. So that's something I would think that they would want to fix, but oh well. Another thing that's changed is there are new ways to get hurt. If you fall from a high place, you can break a leg. But they have, I say, food's harder to come by, and I'm finding it. But yeah, you can fall from a high place and break your leg. It tells you it makes you slower, but I really didn't notice it. Maybe running. I'm not sure. But the only way to heal it is there's a new item called splints, and you can apply a splint, and it'll gradually start healing you. What your broken leg. And you can now drink water directly from lakes and stuff, but you have it depending on the source. It might be contaminated, which every time I've done it, I've found it contaminated, and you can get dysentery, which has a few negative side effects. But you can heal that with goldenrod tea or antibiotics. Let's see. Another new thing is clay. You used to can just dig in the ground and have a chance to get clay. Now you can't. You can only find it in deposits that are usually by riverbeds, or I think it said by bodies of water, but I haven't really seen it around here. Where are you? Oh, there she is. She was underwater. Come on. So, I haven't really seen any around here, but there are, at least in the randomly generated world, there are like cliffs that you can find. I think there's some over there in the distance, and you can find some in those cliffs, and you can tell that it's clay because they're a little bit different color. They're lighter color than the regular dirt, and they're kind of like of a tan color. I'm just heading over there. I think I see one right now. Another thing is water. I'm going to a deeper area. Yeah. Water now has a depth, and some can get pretty deep, and you can actually swim in it. Previously, I think it was just like a thin layer. And you could pretty much walk on the water. Oh. But now you can swim on it. And if you have zombies going after you, it's a good way to get away from them because they can't swim. They just walk under it. But as you can tell, that's clay. As you can tell, it's different because that would be dirt, and it's a lot darker color. But clay's a little bit easier to find now. Instead of getting a chance of getting it, now you can go and actively find it. Let's see. This is another new thing, cotton. You can gather cotton to make cloth for bandages and other things. So that's a new item. And in crafting, there's several new things in there, like the splints. The other thing is, it seems zombies spawn more readily than they used to. Used to, if I cleared out an area, the zombies wouldn't really spawn here. At nighttime they would, but during the day, I don't know where that zombie is. They wouldn't really spawn too much in the day. You'd occasionally, out from a little bit of ways, they would kind of spawn and then start. You might have a couple that would end up in your area. And then the hordes would occasionally come through, but once you cleared out an area, it was relatively safe. That doesn't seem to be the case anymore. And previously, you can go around, if you found camps, you can find sleeping bags, but now I don't think you can find them anymore because I played quite a bit and found camps and not seen sleeping bags, so it's something you have to craft. But it's not that expensive to craft, so it's not that big of a deal. There's some food, good. What? I did that. When I cleared out this area, there happened to be a deer that got stuck, so it took me a while to kill it, but I got some of the venison. But yeah, all these buildings are cleared out. Let's see, what else is new? Towns and like little cities are harder to find. I've never found one in this biome or the winter biome, but in this direction, a little bit down this road, there's a burnt area, or the burnt biome, and I found cities in there. And there's a couple new buildings that I've never seen before that have spawned in them, like a movie theater and an apartment complex. Oh, that's where she is. There's one on the roof. Yeah, they spawn on the roof. I don't know why. Okay. So, those are a couple new buildings. I haven't seen any of like the town hall kind of things, the high school. I call it a town hall, but a lot of people call it the jail, because there's a jail cells and stuff in it. I haven't seen any of those, but a lot of the generation, I assume they're still here, and like the farmhouses, I haven't seen the farmhouses or the, no, didn't get to them in time, or the areas where there's a big patch of already grown food. But I assume they are. It's just a randomly generated world, so as you can see with this thing, we have like 4 different styles of building that are not normally like in the pre-made map together. Like you have this high-end house, then you have this like the mid-range house here, and then you have a log cabin, and then this house, which I'd say is like the low class kind of house. They normally in the built map, they're usually have a lot of the buildings that are similar, but not in here. These buildings in a pre-made map wouldn't be this close to each other. But it kind of gives a unique look to the world. But I decided I'm just going to pretty much make this my initial base, just because I found it and it's already cleared out for the most part, except for the zombies. I haven't really scavenged too much in it. But I'm gonna do, because I'm kind of low on water. I have a little bit of food, but kind of wanted to look around a bit in the general area. Oh, another thing that's kind of new to this is, before, books were kind of harder to find. Not anymore. They have a new item or piece of furniture that you can find called bookcases. And books kind of spawn quite a bit in there in blueprints. Whereas before, books, you'd occasionally find them in random stuff. But mostly they were in like safes. But now they have the bookcases, and so quickly you'll learn most all the recipes, which I think should be kind of nerfed. It's nice to learn them really quick, but on the other hand, it's pretty much once you learn them all, there's no reason to look in the bookcases. Yeah, so okay, pretty decent amount of water. I know the high-end building, I found the bookcases. I don't know if these buildings have any bookcases. Kind of, oh, there's one. I don't know. Yeah, I haven't looked in it. So that's where the bookcase is. And they almost always have a book in them. But I've already learned this one, I think. Well, or maybe there's a couple versions. I know I had that one. And then a lot of the buildings have these barriers. As you notice, in the previous version, there weren't as many barriers to rooms, but in this one, they've added quite a few of them. But anyways, I'm gonna go. That is. Okay. I know where this is. I'm just gonna go explore a bit, see if there's any other towns or anything close by before we wrap this up. I'm trying to go over everything that I could think of that's different. And there are no new zombie types, at least from what I could tell on the wiki and what I've seen. A few of the non-zombie types that are hostile have kind of changed a bit. The dogs and the hornets. Hornets are now more common, especially along riverbanks. This is more like a lake. I haven't really seen too many around the lakes, but down rivers, you run into them quite a bit, and towards the burnt lands, you'll run into them, and they drop the honey quite a bit of honey if you kill them. They're not too difficult to kill. Oh, I'm not even going to worry about you. But they move around quite a bit, so using a ranged weapon is kind of hard to kill them. Unless you can get one that's kind of far off and you can get it quick enough. What's over here? Oh, I think I'm going into the burnt lands. Don't really want to go over there yet. I might go a little bit over here. I haven't seen any new biomes. Oh, that's good to know. There's some coal right there. At least I haven't seen any. But the biomes seem to be a little bit bigger. Than in the pre-made map. So it's kind of good if you have a big area. Like this area is huge. This foresty area. So there's a lot of goldenrod tea. I'm not sure the red flowers, I think they're called chrysanthemums. I haven't really plucked them. I don't know if there's a recipe for them yet. If I remember right, there wasn't in the previous version. They were there and you could pick them, but if I remember right, they didn't do anything. Maybe they had, or at least it was something that I didn't know the recipe to. Oh, there's more clay. Sometimes on these like cliff areas, if they're high enough, okay. Normally don't get the eggs. You'll find exposed like coal or iron. Not always, but sometimes, yeah. I don't see any there. Yeah, I'm just kind of looking around, seeing what's around this area, if there's any more buildings that I can loot from. I haven't thoroughly searched the ones that where my base is going to be, but can't hurt to look. I want to find more of the commercial buildings or an actual town that has a police station. Or better yet, a farm. Farm would be good place for a base also. Yeah. As for supply drops, I haven't played for far enough in yet for supply drop. Mostly it's just been playing in kind of like test worlds until now, and really haven't gotten too far in. Chicken. Okay, I can go there. Oh. Yeah. That's what happens when you don't pay attention. Eat something. Okay. Yeah, wasn't paying attention. In a way, I don't like the way they've done the water and stuff now, because it's off in the corner, and it's a little more different. If I remember right, it used to be up in the top corner. It was a little bit bigger, so you could see it a little bit better. As it is now, you'd be looking forward, not down in the corner. And I typically look towards the top of the screen, not down towards the bottom. Except for when I want to change weapons or items. So far, I'm not really seeing anything. And since it's randomly generated, there's no telling where it'll generate buildings. Looks like I'm going back into a burnt area. Yeah, so far the only biomes I've been finding are the burnt, the forest, and once I found the winter biome. Okay, well, I'm gonna go this way. Just because those have dogs, and even though dogs are easier to kill than they used to be, they're still annoying, especially if you get more than one. And the hornets. The zombies you can outrun and get away from, but the dogs and the hornets, well, the dogs are faster than you are for the most part, and they'll follow you. And the same thing with the hornets. The hornets can fly, and they typically don't forget about you, even if you get a ways away from them, as quick as the regular zombies. So they're early. Oh, ooh, almost fell. I don't think this is high enough to hurt me. Yeah, and that's one thing you gotta watch is the falling. Is breaking a leg. While, as I said, I don't think it says it's. I didn't want to chrysanthemum, but oh, excuse me. While I don't really notice that it's really changes your speed all that much, it's still annoying. I'm not really seeing anything. Maybe I should have gone in the burnt area. Yeah, buildings don't generate all that often. You'd think that as big of an area as it is, they would generate a little more often than they do. Another thing I haven't came across yet are the army camps. I would assume they're still in the game, but I just haven't found one yet. Look at the map. Okay, I'm gonna loop back around back towards the base. So I assume they're still in the game. I haven't seen any yet. Another thing that's quite a bit different, I don't know if it's with just randomly generated, is water is very plentiful. You don't have to go far, even in the burnt areas, to find water. I don't know if there's a desert area anymore, and how much water spawns there, but like in this, you don't have to go too far to find water. The only thing that I think needs a little bit more is they should have it where random generation generates more buildings. Oh god, that startled me. It was a crawler. I almost went right on him. Yeah, more buildings would be really nice. Especially with the food situation. Because early game, you don't really have the resources to farm. And it takes a while before you start getting enough to really do anything. So, if buildings generate a little bit more often, maybe you can have a better chance to find a supply of food. Okay, there's a road. This is the road I've been to. Okay, it's this road. Okay, so let's go back this way. I'll probably be ending it soon once I get back to my base area. Probably mostly doing this just as a reintroduction to the game and the new things that have been added. I might turn this into occasional do a let's play to see where progress has gone, or if I happen to find something interesting, maybe do a episode with that, like if I find a city or something. But for the moment, I don't know if I'll do like an every few days thing. But we'll see. But if you've never played 7 Days to Die, I would recommend picking it up on Steam or from their website. For an alpha version of a game, it's pretty well polished. As you can see, there's a lot already in the game. There's very few bugs, and what bugs there are, they're not that major. Compared to a few other alpha games. Okay, there's my town. But compared to a few other alpha games, this is got a pretty well polish. And if you already have the game and you haven't played for a while, at least since this new updates came out, I would recommend playing it again. It's gotten a lot better. The one thing I don't think I went over is the difficulties gotten a lot harder. I'm playing right now on the easiest setting, and that's pretty well challenging. Whereas before, the easiest setting was, just as I said, it was pretty easy. It's still pretty easy, but it's more in line with the previous versions next tier up. And I think they just kind of bumped them up. Plus, zombies typically spawn during the day more often than before. But the difficulty's gotten a lot harder, which, learning the game, that's kind of annoying if you've never played before. But the game's pretty easy to pick up. Especially, I would suggest looking at their wiki before you actually play, especially to get a few of the basics down. Like first thing you should make is stone axe. And the first weapon is the crossbow, which is really easy to make early on. So, but anyways, as I said, I recommend that if you thought about it but weren't too sure about it, I recommend picking it up. It's actually a lot of fun. I can't really think of any games that are similar to it. Well, I haven't played Rust, but from what I understand, Rust is kind of similar. But it's mostly multiplayer. This has a multiplayer component, but you can play it in single player. Daisy, I've never really played that, and the production on that, from what I understand, is kind of hit or miss. Whereas this, when they do updates, they do major updates that adds a lot of good stuff to it. So, but the closest game I could say that it's similar to, even though they're two completely different games, is just plain old Minecraft. Minecraft, the graphics are not as nice as this, and it's all cubes. But it has your survival, only you don't have like creepers and skeletons, you just have the zombies. The zombies are a little bit more powerful. But it's voxel based, you can mine for resources. There's a ton of stuff that you can make, and it's like, even to start off with, I haven't gathered more books, but you gather books, you add stuff to what you can make. But even starting off, there's a ton of stuff you can make, and you can build your mega fortress if you want, or your own city. Anything that's generated, you could pretty much make. Like these buildings, you could gather the resources and make these buildings yourself. But if you aren't too much into crafting, with the randomly generated world, you can go to explore. If you find a building, just make it your base. There's a few things you'd have to make your own, but I mean, you don't have to go hog wild on it. So yeah, I highly recommend this game, and at that, I'll probably end this. So I hope everyone enjoyed this video, and until next time, I hope everyone has a great day. Bye.